yeah, the West is going to be a monster. On that note, Luka probably has had the best World Cup of any player so far through 5 games, 26 points per game, over 7 rebounds, almost 7 assists a game. Obviously, a lot of turnover on that roster, bringing back Kyrie, of course, bringing in Dante Exum, Seth Curry, Grant Williams, Rashawn Holmes, 2 first-round picks in Prosper and Derek Lively, defensive guys. I think when you have a player as good as Luka, and look, say what you want about Kyrie, a player as good as Kyrie on a roster, the two of them, the question shouldn't be like, is this team going to be good enough to qualify for the play-in and try to get a playoff spot? No, the question is this roster, is it built well enough going into this season to be a top 6 team in the West? Have they shored up the defensive have they shored up the shooting? Like, is this team good enough to be a top 6 team in the West?
Ooh, the top 6 part is loaded, but I do think this Dallas team is closer to the Dallas run we saw before than last year's team. As far as having more defensive guys, being able to play smaller lineups, and Luka is an offense to himself in that he can take whatever scheme you throw and they can generate shots. And they can continue to generate shots. You want to trap, you want to be in a drop, you want to switch. We can find a way to get what we want. We can put Luka in the post, and they're always going to get you in rotation. Now it's just who's catching the ball, who's making them pay, and can they get stops? So I think maybe they may not be top 6, but I know if they hit these notes, you don't necessarily want to see them in the playoffs. That's an annoying team to face. That's my thought process, because now it's, okay, we're going to try a bunch of stuff. They're going to make us pay. How do we handle that?
Luka is good enough to make this a top 6 in the West team. And Kyrie is obviously very talented for however available he's going to be. I look at the rest of the roster and my brow just kind of raises compared to some of the other teams in the West. And I look at the big room and I look at the wing room defensively in particular. And I wonder, what kind of leap are we going to get from Josh Green on both ends of the floor? But he is going to have to be the perimeter stopper for this team. And I think he's already a good defender. But is he ready to take that on for 82 games or 82 plus games for 30 plus minutes a night against some of the guys he's going to be seeing in the West? And then if he is ready, who's behind that? Because Steven, through like the Derrick Jones Jr. signing, don't know how. I understand the theory of Derrick Jones Jr. with how Dallas plays and generally how slow they are. I don't know if the offensive impact is going to be there for him. And if the offensive impact isn't there, how often are they playing him to be able to get the defense from him? And so behind Josh Green, it's just like, okay, how much are you trusting Max Prosper this year? I don't know if I want to throw him in there year one for like legitimate playoff aspirations. I like him moving forward. But like, those are some of the questions I have. And then with the big man room, you're going to need a healthier Maxi Kleber because he is legitimately good on both ends of the floor. A guy that can't, when he is spacing the floor, offensive utility. Defensively, can switch all over the place, unlock some scheme versatility for you. If you're relying on him this heavily, it's a little bit of a problem for me. And so I don't know. I have some questions with this Mavericks group.
That felt like Grant Williams erasure. And I'm going to remember that you said not to play a rookie if you want to make the playoffs. I'm going to bookmark that. I want you to know that.
No, I'm just saying it's going to be difficult to rely. He can hit the notes. I want to see him play. If you're saying he needs to be your second best perimeter defender, that's just a tough burden for him to carry. That is impossible, but I don't know. The Grant Williams point is astute, and I am excited by his fit in Dallas. But again, JJ listed the teams: Lakers, Suns, Warriors, et cetera, et cetera. Like, for top 6, a lot of those guys are going to have to hit.
Yeah. Couple thoughts I had. Number one, still unclear who the rim protector is on this roster. And I don't know, you guys brought up Max Prosper. I don't know that Derek Lively is ready to step in and be a major contributor and be the comparison was Tyson Chandler. I think he already is a better shooter than Tyson Chandler. And Tyson Chandler was a monster, by the way. Defensive player of the year at one point in his career, but like maybe he gets to that someday. I don't know that you're going to get that out of him as a rookie. The weird thing to me about Grant Williams is when I think about the version of Grant Williams in Boston, not the version of who Grant Williams wants to be in Dallas, where he's maybe playing more as a diver, as a pick and popper, like getting more two-man games with Luka and Kyrie and making plays out of those. But when I think about the version of Grant Williams in Boston, I think I'm about Maxi Kleber, but there's some redundancy there. There's not necessarily a complementary skill set between the two of them. They're not the same player. I'm not comparing saying one's better or worse than the other. I'm just saying there's some redundancy in skill set there. So I'm very excited to see Grant Williams in Dallas. But I want to watch a month or two of basketball before I'm like, oh, this is a major signing. And I think Grant's fantastic. I'm just, where is the rim protection on this roster? Where is it? Grant's going to help them. Grant's going to make them better. A healthy Maxi Kleber makes them better for sure. But we're still running into the same issue that we've had with these Luka teams. You go back to that Western Conference Finals. Like it wasn't Steph bombing threes that beat them. It was literally points in the paint. And part of that was because they were blitzing Steph at times. But like it was points in the paint. Mm-hmm. They had no rim protection. It was Andrew Wiggins driving the basketball out of closeouts and no rim protection. They're still going to have that issue this year. That's what I'm curious to see, how Grant Williams can really help this team be a 50-32 team and get a top 6 spot. That's where we're at.